Santa Claus is coming to town. Thank you very much for signing up to volunteer at the Santa Run on Sunday, December 2nd. This webinar will serve as a preliminary training for the event, but you will receive more instructions from us when you arrive. About the Santa Run. So this is ERA's 5th year hosting the Santa Run and the 10th year for the event. This serves as a fundraiser for our nonprofit. And if you don't know a whole lot about us, we are a community-centered nonprofit here in Waukesha, serving seniors and adults with disabilities all throughout Waukesha County. Our name used to be Interfaith, so you might be familiar with that, and we changed our name in 2017. So this is a fundraiser for us. And each year we try to make the event better than last year for everyone involved. So if you have any opportunities or things that you really liked, please let us know after the event. First things first, you should remember that the majority of our volunteers will be serving outside, so please dress for the weather, just like these adorable dogs in sweaters. Next, parking. There are several parking options for our volunteers, which are indicated on the Sign Up Genius link that you signed up on. Just click, there's a part that says parking, and it's a document. Just click on that and it'll show you all sorts of options in downtown Waukesha. So when you arrive, we ask that all of our volunteers check in at our volunteer check-in tent. The tent is located in the parking lot right across from Taylor's People's Park, and each tent will be labeled. So if you come to People's Park, just come over to the parking lot where you see all the tents and look for the one that says Volunteer Check-in. If you are a route guide, you will then be given a map with your location, a vest to keep you visible and safe, and potentially a sign to hold. Okay, so after you check in, we ask all route guides to stay in the area of that parking lot until we let you go off to your route. A police officer who's working with the race will speak to you before you head out to talk about safety concerns, and then we'll let you know that, okay, you can head out to your spot. If you are not a route guide, so if you're working at the same day registration, packet pickup, refreshments, then we will just let you know which tent that is, and you're free to go over there after you check in. You will likely have a lead volunteer who can help answer questions, but if you have other questions, we will have some staff walking around who will definitely stop and introduce themselves, or feel free to talk to the folks at the volunteer registration table if you have any more questions. All right, so route guides, you are very important along the route. So not only are you keeping our walkers and our runners company as they travel 3 miles throughout Waukesha, but you are making sure that our participants are following the correct path. Now, you know, for much of this, it's pretty self-explanatory. They're going to see the cone and they're going to know, okay, I'm just going to keep going to the next one. But there are a couple parts that get a little tricky. And this is where we really want our volunteers to help make sure that people know where they're going. So when you first go out to your location, you will be looking for a cone with your corresponding number. So you can see that, you know, someone has Route 15, someone has Route 23. So you'll look for that number. And then any of the tricky locations will also have like an arrow either on the sign or on chalk on the sidewalk if it's not snowing or raining, then to help make sure that people understand where they're supposed to be going. And this is a zoomed in portion of the map showing the trickier spot over here. So in the beginning, people are coming up from, what is this, Clinton, over, well, sort of near Bank Street, and then they're going over Carina Boulevard until they get to Frame Park. And then when they come back, they're going to be heading down Carina Boulevard again for a little bit. So some of those fast runners in the beginning might be coming head on to some of the walkers who will typically be at the end. So the folks who are over here, 10, 11, 12, 13, we just want you to be aware of that and help the runners who are trying to get back to the finish line, help them along if they're a little confused on where they're supposed to go, and just keep reminding people to stay to their right. Because if they're, you know, going one way and the other ones are going the other way, if they stay to the right, they should be okay. Okay, so when your task is over, if you are at the registration or T-shirt pickup, you'll be done with your task before the run starts. If you choose to stick around, we would love for you to stay by the finish line to cheer on some of our runners and walkers. And I know that the walkers also really appreciate when people stick around to cheer them on. So if you can do that, that's really nice. Okay, now if you're a route guide, how will you know when you're done? Well, we will have some staff people who will be the caboose, basically. They will be the last walkers of the event. And when they come by you, they'll just let you know that, hey, the event is over, and that'll be your cue to pick up your cone and your sign and walk back to the volunteer registration table. And that's where you'll turn in your cone, any of the signs that you had, your vest, and let them know that you're leaving. And then any of the other volunteers, if you're at the registration table, refreshments, please also check out with our volunteer registration table so that we just know that, okay, you're no longer here as a volunteer. Okay, before you leave, did I already say that? Oh, before you leave, we also have cookies and hot chocolate that are for the runners, but we'd definitely love for you to stop and grab that if we have some left over. All right, well, thank you so much for volunteering to help out at our 10th annual Santa Run and Walk. We will be sending out a reminder email a few days before the race, which includes a phone number you can use to get a hold of an ARA staff member the day of the race, and some other information about what time you should be there and parking and that kind of thing. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you.